Hey guys, welcome back to Sky Factory. I'm Brim, he's Grum, and this is episode 27. Now, what are we going to do today? Well, I thought we'd take a real quick look at the things I've been working on, and then we're going to change directions. I know I figured we'd be doing Thumbcraft one more episode. I'm wrong. And as you can see, I've dug out a whole new chamber over here just for today's little project. Let's go ahead and take a look at what has changed around our base, though. You will notice that the biggest change is our crop area out here where we're growing the magical crops. So I really wanted two crops to be able to benefit from the growth pulsars, that being the Minicia over here and the Diamond over here. And you know what? When I get close to this these days, I get serious frame drop. Yeah, out here I'm okay, but if I get close enough to it to see all the particles coming off those things, I get a little frame drop. So anyway, we've got, these are farming stations with octatics in them, and this is the full 15 by 15 that those can service. So there's one crop, there's two crops, and there are 4 more crops up here. So we're up to 6 crops that we're automating. Now we could be a little cheaty. The requirement for the quest simply says that you have farming stations, it doesn't say how many, automating 32 different crops. Well, the farming station interface, if you look at it, can only manage 4 crops, 1, 2, 3, 4. However, it will manage anything that is also planted on the ground. So if I came in here and planted 32 separate crops in these, it would manage them all because it does the right-click harvesting. You'll notice that as it harvests, it doesn't pull the plants up. It just harvests the tops off of them. So we could actually automate 32 crops in a single plot like this, but that's probably not what we're going to do. We've got stuff, I think the Yellorium over here is probably just about ready to graduate over into its own. And the reason I'm pushing the Yellorium so hard is because at some point we have to build a max-size reactor that's 32 by 32 by 48 tall. That is a ton of Yellorium. So we're just, we're growing Yellorium as fast as we can to try to prep for that. You'll also see that our mob spawner has changed. We've now got 2 Endermen. I think we probably had 2 Endermen in there last time, but we've also got sheep in the middle there. Yep, there goes sheep right there. And witches at the bottom. Yep, sure enough. The witches probably weren't necessary. And the sheep, this is probably faster for getting wool than what we had going on. And it was more mob spawners, right? Yep, I liked it. I liked it a lot. If we bounce our way in here, what we'll see is we've also changed over to conveyors to push them down in the center. And then at the bottom, we've moved our... Oh, it looks like we can't keep up with the XP either. That's an issue. Oh, that may be what's causing all the frame drops over here. Wonder how I can deal with getting all that XP out of there. Hey, quit throwing stuff at me, you witch. Anyway, we've got our Reaper 5 diamond spikes back down here, just collecting souls for us. We've got some things we need to do with souls. Hey, I'm not going to die right here, am I? Don't I have a milk bucket in here somewhere? Of course, about the time I get the milk bucket out, it's going to stop, right? Quit! Why can't I drink the milk? That's milk, isn't it? Why can I not drink milk? How very interesting. Oh well, it stopped anyway. There we go. So, beyond that, let's go look at our research. Oops, did I pick up another, I picked up another wool. We'll just toss that in our system. And then we'll head over to our Thumbcraft area. Now, the area itself hasn't changed much. I did put, this is another garage door in here with buttons to get in and out of the area. I did build a couple of more things. I did have to build a deconstruction table, and I know we looked at that in the last episode, but I didn't actually build it. I had to build it, and the reason I had to build it is because of the amount of research that I've done. I've done research until the world looks flat. I have just gone through here, and I'll be honest, I didn't look at what these things do. I just researched everything that I could. Well, I researched everything that my patience would hold out for. At some point, I simply could not stand doing any more research. But to get all of the the research. To get all the research points we needed to do this, I kept running out of air over and over. So what I did is I went and built a bunch of crafting tables. I brought them down here and tossed them in this chest to let them get pumped over into the deconstruction table, and then sat here. I've got an auto-click macro on my mouse, and I turned on the auto-click, and then sat here and watched a Netflix movie in the background while it just sat there and gathered up research points for probably, I think I refilled this chest. I filled it up. I think I filled it all the way up once and then about 3/4 of the way a second time to get what we've got now, along with all the research. Now, I still don't have all the research done. There's no doubt about it. But I am much further along. Like, say I don't have this, and that's because it's forbidden. And I don't know enough about the mod pack to know if there's a way to get rid of the negative effects from doing forbidden knowledge stuff. I just don't know. We've got all the way up to the Silverwood Wand Core available to us, along with the Thaumic Caps over here. But obviously, we need the big infusion thing to be able to do that. Alchemy, I've unlocked a bunch of stuff, but not everything. I didn't do all this work, just because I think I've got other ways to do this, right? I mean, gold transmutation, I assume that it's got a picture of a little nugget. I don't know that I need that. So, but I did do everything that looked like I would need it. So, and maybe you guys can correct me and tell me, hey, you absolutely need that, silly. So, this stuff over here, Bottled Taint and Liquid Death, I did not do. What do we got over here? Artifice. I did most of this one, I think. Most of the stuff that is not grayed out to me. I've unlocked some things up here that I didn't do. Some rings. What is this? The Sinister Lodestone, also a forbidden, so I didn't do it. It looks like I did get around to most of the stuff in there. I did do the Infernal Furnace. I know there are good reasons to actually have the furnace, so I did do that one. Golemancy, I've done most of the stuff in here, including, I didn't realize Butcher was, I didn't realize it until I'd done it. I came through here and clicked and made a bunch of the research papers and then took them all over and went and did it. And I apparently clicked that one and also did Flesh, oh, I didn't do Flesh Golem. Good. Scribing tools and paper. Yeah. I didn't do the Flesh Golem because I was able to go all the way down to Thaumic, and I don't know if the Flesh Golem's any better than the Thaumic Golem. So, I mean, it's Thaumics further down the chain. I assume it's better. I don't know. Again, you guys may be able to go, no, silly, you want that. I did inadvertently, I guess, do this one because it's Forbidden Knowledge, but it unlocked a bunch of upgrades, so I guess that's, or maybe it went the other way. Now, actually, I think I did this, and it unlocked all these, and then unlocked this, maybe. I don't remember. So anyway, I've done lots and lots of stuff. There are some things that I just left out. Advanced node jarring. I probably need to do that. Okay, well, anyway, there are obviously still some important things that I haven't done, but there are a bunch of things that I have done. So we're just going to leave that the way it is for now. I also built a hungry chest here. Hey, why don't you grab that? What are you... Hey, hungry chest. Grab that. Well, okay, fine. Take it that way. So, having said all that, whew, what a mouthful. Hey, let me out. We are not coming back to Thaumcraft just yet. As I said, I've got a new area dug out over here, and we'll talk about why. So, we started down the path of Thaumcraft because we wanted to do Draconic Evolution. And for some reason, was there a reason I went to over here to get to? I don't remember. Or maybe we just couldn't do Draconic Evolution, so we switched over to Thaumcraft to do some Thaumcraft. Anyway, to advance Draconic Evolution, I'm going to have to, I think, I've done, we've now got tons and tons and tons of Dimlets. However, if I do Rarity 6, we'll see that we have still exactly 2. None of those came from Enderman. Those came from alternative sources. So, the only other way I know to get, let me rephrase that, the only way I know to get Rarity 6 Dimlets is from the buildings that are in the RFTools worlds, and I've done a bunch of them. That's where those 2s came from. I'm 99% certain. No, one of them came from a building. One of them came from Dungeon Loot. That's where the other one came from. Oh, I guess we could have talked about that. We'll do that here in a second. So, I have done a ton of searching through worlds. As a matter of fact, I've been tearing down some of the worlds. If you remove the, what's this one down here? The Matter Receiver. If you remove the Matter Receiver from a world, it disappears off the list. So, I've been removing the Matter Receivers out of worlds that we knew we would never want to use again. It's just taking forever. And I do mean forever. I mean, I've spent hours upon hours going through worlds, looking for dungeons, looting the chests there, finding the huts, breaking them, and we still got exactly 2, Rarity 6. And I've used the fully infused Dimlet Scrambler. Yeah, they say that if you put 3 5s in here, let's see, Rarity, if I can get my T up there, T5. They say if you put, let's see, is this one we can get away with? Yep, we don't care about that. What is this? Water breathing, don't care about that. Blazing Protheum, we do care about. Peaceful, efficiency, mob villager, yeah, I don't guess I care about that. If we put 3 of these in here, we will get a new Dimlet. It says with the 100% infused that we should have a really good chance, quote unquote, of getting a tier 6 if we put 3 tier 5s in there. Nope. I've done, oh, I don't know, probably 30, maybe 40 of these with 3 5s. Mostly what I've gotten out of it has been Rarity 0s. A few Rarity 1s, the occasional Rarity 2, and as you saw there, a Rarity 3, but the vast majority of them were Rarity 0s. So that's getting us nowhere either. So, what does that leave? Well, that leaves dungeon loot, but finding dungeons is miserably slow. Well, there is another way, and we've actually talked about that way, and that way is through the this guy, the Lunium flower. The Lunium flower produces dungeon loot. At least that's my understanding. I've never actually built this particular flower, but we are a long way away from it, and there's only one way to get there, and that's to start Botania. Now, I was going to put Botania off because Botania seems to be my go-to mod from magical mods. It seems to be the one I always do first. Seems to be the one that I always kind of enjoy doing, but I'm avoiding it. I'm avoiding it this time around simply because it's the one I always did. And then I got to a place where I'm just stuck without it, and I went, okay, fine. I won't be pig-headed. I'll go ahead and jump into Botania. So today we are going, that was the longest way around to say, today we're going to start Botania. So the first thing we need is the Lexica, and let's see. Oh, that should be easy enough. We should have the stuff in there, and bingo. Have ourselves a Lexica Botanica, 249th edition. This is the one. Is this the one? It's really small, but we can search. It says type to search. Okay, yeah, we can just type. Very good. Alright, so, getting started, as always. So the first thing we're going to need, now I am planning to put this inside. So probably the first thing I need to do is come over here with a bunch of dirt and replace all the stone with dirt. Yep, let's do that first. Nothing can spawn in here, so that shouldn't be a problem. Let me grab my resonant exchanger, and let's just do that real quick. We'll grab, I don't know why I'm coming over here, dirt. 16k dirt, that should be enough, that should be enough. There, right there, that should do it. Is this thing in 1x1 mode? It is in 1x1 mode. I broke a bunch of stuff earlier because I wasn't in 1x1 mode and was really heartbroken. Now, I do need to be a little bit careful here, excuse me, to make sure I don't pick up anything I don't expect to pick up. Yeah, it looks about right. That looks about right. Now, this may run out to the edge, which I probably don't want. If I don't guess it really... Oh, yeah, let's see. Page down a bunch. Can I get all the way out to the edge without going over? How's that look? Hey, look at that. Almost like I planned it. Of course, we all know better than that. Alright, so let me finish filling this in, and we'll be right back. Alright, guys, that is a done deal. Wasn't too bad. I did have to switch over to a 1x1 at one point just to get it all in there. Go ahead and throw all this stuff back. Do I actually have any grass in here? Grass. I do have a little bit. Let's plop one down. Right about there. Yeah, it looks good. That's the place it's going. Now, I've intentionally left these big windows open because I think what I'm thinking is I want to put mana glass in there. Is it mana glass? I'm pretty sure it's mana glass. It's the Botania glass, which is kind of a light blue, but it also generates its own light, which is kind of handy. It'll cast light in this area, and I would go, hey, why aren't you spreading? What's going on over here? Is it too dark? Maybe too dark. Isn't that interesting? So let me go ahead and spread grass, I guess, and we'll come back after that. Hey guys, welcome back. So I got all our dirt in. It wasn't too bad. Oh, I said I got all our dirt in. I see dirt right over there. I mean, I see stone right over there. Hang on. Let me see. Where is my resin exchanger? It's still in my inventory. And let's grab some dirt back out. I thought we'd gotten all of this, but apparently not. Knock that all the way down and go bang, 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 bang. And then finish filling in our grass. Now, the torches that are in here are only temporary. The light level was too low under here to spread grass, so I had to bring the light level up in order to get the grass to spread. So, that's really all that's about. Now, I don't know that I've ever tried to put the, oh, what's a silly daybloom. I don't know if I've ever tried to put daybloom inside. I have no idea whether it'll work or not, so we're just going to find out. I mean, that's the way we have to get started, unfortunately, is with the daybloom. Let's see. Come on. This is taking longer than I expected. You know what? We could just let the rest of it spread on its own, but the watering can does such an amazing job of spreading grass that I almost hate to watch the grass grow any other way. So we're going to need some things, and we're going to need like a petal apothecary. Oh, you know what? What about things like just base flowers? Because we don't really have those available to us, do we? This may be a bit tricky. So let's see. A petal apothecary. Oh, you know what? We actually have a bunch of the petals. Where did we get these? We got these from breaking something. I'll have to think about that. Because oh, what am I missing? Slabs. Well, you know what? We can make slabs. And I think we've already got a well. Yes, do we already have a well made? Oh, is the well not in? I thought we had already made one. It's essentially just an endless water supply, which we can get in other ways, but the well is really convenient. I'm sure it's called a well. But I sure don't see it. So, you know what? We have a different alternative already in our bag, so we can just use that. Let's grab our petal apothecary, and we'll just dump it down somewhere, like right here. Yep, that'll work. Now, in my bag of tricks over here, I have got, yes, a resonant portable tank, and it is 504 buckets of water in there. I think that will do. All right, so if we take a look at our Lexica, a tutorial of the basics, Garden of Glass? Garden of Glass, nobody can hear you scream. You're alone in space. How exciting. All right, it's a skyblock mode for Botania. Oh, but if you're new to it, you're more than welcome to try. Okay, so folks are saying, but some tweaks have been put in place to allow for skyblock style games. There will be listed in the following pages. So let me read through these real quick. I've never seen this before. Filling the problem going to be done with a bowl. So let me read through this real quick because this could make a huge difference. I did not realize there was a Garden of Glass. I did not realize there was a special mode for skyblock. So let me read through, check out the changes real quick, and we'll be back in just a second. I read through that section. It seemed to be particular to a very specific sky mod, a sky mod, isn't that weird? A very particular world type called Glass Garden, I think is what it was called. Anyway, it didn't seem to apply, a lot of it didn't seem to apply to us. Now, insane. We looked at a while ago at the petals, and we had a bunch of petals in here, and the only place I could think that we got them was from breaking flowers and stuff when we did that over at the cow pen. In an effort to reproduce that, I bone milled everything in this, and the only thing it produced were poppies and dandelions. So either that is a different biome over there, and it will work over there, and won't over here, or that's not how I got them, and I simply don't remember how I've gotten them. However, there is a fairly cheap recipe for floral fertilizer, and I think, yeah, this stuff will produce. Oh, it's going to be tough to keep up with, though, isn't it? Do we have... do we have a hoe of some sort? Hoe of any sort. I'm wondering if maybe we can right-click to harvest them? Well, these are actual flowers, though. I don't know that we've got any choice but to simply plop them out of the ground to use them, and then we can do this to turn them into petals? Yeah. Okay. Well, it's a good thing, then, that the floral fertilizer is relatively inexpensive, because we're going to need a bunch of it, apparently. Now, I say that. There is a flower that we can get to relatively quickly that will help us produce. Let's see, what is it called? Where is one of the forests? Black lotus? No. Hey, where's the... Oh, here we go. Generating, no. Functional. It is called... Oh, man. Functional, natural... Well, long and short, there is a flower. I was certain it was under the functional. Oh, there's another page. Silly me. Jaded. The jaded amethyst. Amaranthus? Amaranthus? I think it's amaranthus. The jaded amaranthus will create... It'll turn mana into flowers in its area, long and short. So we need to get to it, but it's fairly expensive. If we look at it... Oh, it's actually not too bad here. Green, lime... What is the redstone? Redstone root will have to shift to see its pattern. Is this... For redstone control. This appears to just be a normal crafting recipe. And then we've got Rune of Spring, which we kind of got to get to. That's a water and a fire, which are both basic, so this is a tier 2. Well, that's not too bad. We might actually be able to get to that pretty quickly. Alright, so long and short is, to do the pure daisy, we need what? 4, I think, pure daisy, and we really need at least 2 pure daisies. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I bet we don't have... We still don't have enough. Because I think we've only got 1 in the system petal. Oh, we've got 2 in the system. So we can do 1 right now and get it started, and then make more floral powder. Let's go ahead and get that done. Because we just want to get started. We want to move forward. Oh, we're going to need seeds. Because it is the activation for everything. Oh, is that all the regular seeds we have? Oh, we're going to have to fix that, because that's not nearly enough. Alright, so if we hop up here above it, we can actually just drop all 4 of these in at once, and that in there, and bang, there it is. Dun, 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 dun. Some people think that you have to drop those in one by one. You do not. Absolutely do not. You can drop all of them in there at one time if they all happen to be the same kind. So now let's grab some stone. No, we need to do wood first. And the reason we need to do wood first, what do we have here? Oh, we got a bunch of oak. Now, I do need to build a wood farm, and I will use the planter and harvester to do that, the MFR version of those, because we're doing a lot with wood these days. We're burning a bunch of it to make charcoal. I think we're actually running... Are we running this bad boy off of charcoal? Maybe so. Let me come down here and look. I don't remember if I've got real coal in here or charcoal. Oh no, I've got real coal in here. I've got 30,000, so that may not be quite as big a deal as I thought. But there was something I was just thinking, oh, I've got to have a lot more... What was it that I was thinking I've got to have a lot more wood for? I don't remember. Part of it would have been when I was making those crafting tables. I went through a lot of wood making crafting tables. Alright guys, I'm going to wait for this. I'm going to make a couple, probably, maybe... I'm going to make a bunch more of the floral fertilizer. I'm going to try to make a bunch of living wood. I was kind of waiting. There's the first living wood. We're going to make a bunch of living wood. We're also going to make another pure daisy. We're going to move this whole thing forward, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. And I ran back over here to our, where we originally had our spawning pens, and we've actually had some spawns out here. You'll notice that our sheep are gone. I got rid of them. Indeed, we were spawning different flowers out here, but these are all tulips, and the tulips all turn directly into dyes. So this is not where we're getting those petals. The only thing I can think of is that they might have been coming out of reward bags. I wonder if that's loot bags. What's something we can get out of a loot bag? Mana steel can come out of a... Well, let's just look at the petals. Let's see if they can come out of loot bags. Yeah, see, it doesn't show them coming out of loot bags, but I can't imagine any other place. But we've not had any flowers, have we? I don't know, guys. I just genuinely don't know. I mean, can it be from the tall grass? No? I don't know where they came from. I really don't. I wish I did, though, because the floral... I thought the floral fertilizer was fairly cheap, and I used a bunch of it, but it just didn't produce nearly as many flowers as we are going to need. That is for sure. However, I think the alternative recipe It calls for floral fertilizer. I think it calls for some dyes, right? Yeah, so brown powder, floral, magenta, brown powder. And this has to be gotten from, that's it. It's not regular dye. So we can't take the tulips and make dyes to then make floral powder. We have to grind up a bunch of our, but it looks like, is this always blue? No. That one changes colors. This one changes. So maybe it's just 4 different, now I'm curious. Now I'm curiouser and curiouser. So let's make this. Do we have, yes we do. And then what petal do we have the most of? It got me curious. So looking, it looks like this one is probably the one we have the most of. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put that in there like that, and we get 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if we toss those back in the system, can we now make the floral with just those dyes? Can we do this recipe? Ooh, I actually pulled the pink. Where did that come from? But obviously it used all one color, so yes, this works. So this might actually be quite a bit cheaper than trying to do the whatever other way it was, the dandelions and poppies, because I really didn't have nearly as many of those as I thought. Anyway, we are back over here now. Obviously, I didn't pop that out. We'll go ahead and get some more wood down. I didn't do an entire stack yet, but I did get us moving forward. You'll see that there is, or would have seen, oops, I'm going to leave it because we're moving along. Bang, bang, and bang. You will see that there is a day bloom over here. Like I said, I don't know if this is going to work in here or not, but we're about to find out. How's that? So we now have some living wood right here. And to find out what's going on with that flower, we need a wand of the forest. Wand of the forest. And that is made with twigs and colors, and this is just 2, right? So, yeah, there we go. So let's hop back over to our ME system, drop this stuff in here. So we're going to need to clear that out for starters. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. Did I get 2 or 3? I got 3. 1, 2, 3. And again, we're going to go look at our petals. Petals, and let's see. Oh, it says 34. I don't know how I missed that while ago, because those numbers are tiny and I can barely read them. There we go. All right, so we now have our wand. This is the wand that we use for Botania stuff, and let's go see if this is actually producing any mana. Doesn't look like it. Oh, wait, is that a... No, it doesn't look to me like it's actually producing anything, and that could be a problem. We may have to actually move this outside. What about the night bloom? Night bloom, night shade, night... There it is. It is... Now, I notice there's a motif here. I don't know what this is. Take a day bloom and turn it into a day bloom motif, which is the same recipe we get for... I don't know what that's all about. May have to experiment. So we need a black, is that gray? Gray and purple. Black, gray, and purple. I think we can handle that. Maybe if I can remember that long. Black, gray, and purple. So petals. We need a black, gray. You know, this would be easier if I weren't colorblind. That's a light gray, it says. Where's the gray? Do we not have any gray? Black, red, brown, blue, purple, cyan. We needed a purple. Nope, purple. I don't see a regular gray. Oh, it's right there. Doop. And then a seed. I don't know what that was. And we're right over the top of this, kind of. So we go 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we should now have that in our inventory. Where did he go? There he is. And plop it down and see if it produces any mana. It is producing mana. So it thinks it's night. Oh, it is night. Dadnabbit. It thinks it's not in here because it's night in here. Go figure. Let's swap over and see if the day bloom. Now, obviously, the day bloom was up longer. So I don't know if the day bloom... Okay, it's now day. It's now day for sure. But it still does not appear to be producing. However, this is now completely full. So we may have to rely strictly on... how miserable would that be? And we got a torch right beside it, so it's not a light level thing. I guess it's because we're technically underground. That's all I can think. So we may be stuck with nightshades to get us started. That's okay, because it's not like we'll use that particular power source for long anyway. So, the next thing we need to get done, you'll notice that it says, hey, I don't know where my mana spreader is. Yep, you're right, you don't. Let's grab this wood on our way. And go look up and see if the recipes... Whoa, I just heard glass break. Why did I hear glass break? Oh, by the way, I've said I would explain what this was, and I didn't. I set up another little... independent ME system over here, and this is just, I've already thrown all of the armor away out of here. This was just the treasure bags, the Thumbcraft treasure bags. I was throwing them in here and just letting the autonomous activator open them, and there's actually a hollow right down through here and here that goes over to that vacuum hopper, which was picking that up and creating it in the ME system, to grab mostly the knowledge fragments so that I could eat those to get more research, and even having eaten a bunch of those, that didn't really help. Didn't get me enough. I ended up having to resort to crafting tables. So, now we need a mana spreader. And that is made just like this, and we don't really want to use white. Petal. Didn't we have a bunch of... What did we say that we had a bunch of? Yellow. That'll work. We'll grab that, and then we're also going to want, I think this is just like this, yes. And if you're going to build one, you might as well immediately build two, because you have to have one. It's kind of like the infuser. Did it build both of them? Yeah. It's kind of like the infuser over here, which I find particularly irritating. So this thing is used, this thing is used to infuse machines. However, it needs to be infused itself. So you need to put the infuser in itself. Nope, what that means is you have to build two infusers. One of them that you will simply throw away as soon as you have infused your other infuser. Grr. Now, at least with the mana pools, they have a life beyond the initial. You can use one, upgrade the, so I don't remember which way, doesn't really matter. Upgrade the second one, and then move all the mana over, and eventually you will upgrade the first one as well. All right. And not that you're actually producing any mana, but let's see it. Oops. Am I not in linky mode? Function mode, bind mode. You, bound to you. Oh, okay, it's got a check mark on it, and it's empty. So we are indeed, we're producing so little mana that we can't even see it. All right, so we're going to drop here. I'm going to, I guess I'm going to build a bunch of nightshades, or at least as many as I can. I will build some more floral powder, and yeah, I'm just going to get a bunch more petals together. That's going to have to be our source of petals until we get a much better source of petals. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm just about done here. Now, what I've got set up here is an open crate, which is just, think of it like a chest, except that you leave out the bottom, and that makes an open crate. Matter of fact, let me just show it to you. The recipe. It doesn't require to be magicked in any way, form, or fashion, but it does require your living wood. You actually take your living wood and make living wood planks, and then use those planks in, I guess, kind of a pants fashion, isn't it? Yep, it's pants. And that makes an open crate, and then on top of that, I've stuck a regular hopper. And what that allows me to do, all right, there's no water in there right now, so I can open this up, and then I can just shift-click my water in, and you'll see that I immediately got my bucket back. And then I can pick up my petals and right-click them in. Of course, I'm down to singles now, but right-click, and then click my seed in, and that will dump all of this straight into the petal apothecary for me, and spit out my nightshades for me. So let's see, we need to do these in a checkerboard fashion, like unto so. Oop, nope, you're in the wrong spot. There, and there, and there. Here, there we go. And I guess you can come out, because you're not ever going to do anything. Apparently, it's always night under here. So that'll get us started there. Let's go ahead and check all of these and make sure they all look good. Yes, 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 yes. Now, probably the first thing we could go up to from here would be the Endoflame. Where's our book? Oh, we're missing one. Look at there. Let's be sure to get him down. We want all these down that we can get down, because this is going to take forever anyway. And make sure he's connected. He is indeed. Hey, we can actually see our mana in there now. So, do we have enough yet? Well, it should give me a tooltip saying yes, I can do that, or not. Nope, not enough mana in there yet. It should, when I'm hovering over it, it should say, like, we've got the indicator here, and it's so very tiny. It should say, yes, you've got enough mana in there, or have a red X on the bottom saying, no, you don't have enough mana in there. Now, speaking of mana and things we can do with it, one of the things that we would normally do fairly early is to make some mana steel. However, we can skip that, and the reason we can skip that is because, let's get all that while we're going past here, is because in our, I don't have to go over there, in our ME system, mana steel is one of the things we've been getting out of our loot bags. Speaking of which, do we have loot bags? Loot bags. Does that say 60? It says 80 legendary bags. Looks like I need to do open bags again sometime soon. So we've got some mana steel, and Grum has complained that I've been using the cheaty magnet rather than using a real magnet. So you know what? Let's just fix it. There is a magnet. There is a, here we go, this one right here. The ring of magnetization requires mana steel and a lens, which is just mana steel and glass. So let's make this bad boy, toss it back in there, come down to here and make this, and then come up here and make this. Now we have a legitimate sort of, he's complained that that was cheaty. No, I said, fine, I can fix it. Dun, 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 dun. Now, this ring, I believe this is the one, there's like a delay. 1, 2, yep. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi. So, if we void something, it's not going to help us. There are other magnets that do not have a delay on them. Well, it looks like we're actually kind of short for magnets. That's interesting. Matter of fact, I don't see the magnet that I would normally use that does not have a delay on it. This is the magnet I normally use, but if I was looking for a magnet that doesn't have a delay on it, there's a different one that you have to scale up through, but it doesn't have a delay. So if you accidentally void something, it immediately comes back in your inventory. This one's not going to help us in situations like this. If I fly out there and void this mana pool, it's just gone. So guys, let's see. We need mana, and that's going to be a laborious task here. Nope, still not enough to make the upgraded mana pool. So I'm going to go away. I'm going to let this do its thing for, like, ever, probably. I'm going to see if I can't figure out how I got those other petals and see if there's a better way to get... Oh, I wonder if I picked them up. No, we didn't see any place where we could have gotten flowers in any of the RF worlds, did we? I don't think so. I just, for the life of me, I can't think of where I might have gotten those petals from. Our collection of trophies is coming along. All right, guys. So we need mana, and that's just a waiting game. So there's no reason for us to wait. We will just cut forward. You guys will just cut forward till the waiting is over. How's that, guys? I'm actually back much sooner than I expected. Matter of fact, I don't know that you'll even be able to see a difference here. However, I wanted to check and see what it was going to take. So normally the next step up from Daybloons and Nightshades would be the Endoflame. As I recall, and it's been a while since I've messed with Botania, I'll just say that. As I recall, the Endoflame required that you put something that you mananize, that you put something in the pool and upgrade it. However, in looking at this recipe, it does not call for that anymore. Where is it? It calls for a brown petal, red petal, light gray petal, and mana powder. Now, I'm pretty sure this used to call for the mana petals rather than the mystical petals. However, that's no longer true. It just takes 4 regular petals and mana powder. So I was curious about what mana powder was, because I've never seen that before. Mana powder, and it turns out this stuff's actually fairly easy to make. Gunpowder will get it done, and just a tiny amount of mana. So I grabbed some gunpowder, oops, it's all one word, and tossed some in here, like onto this. And here's the display I was talking about earlier. See the arrow with the check mark, meaning, yeah, that you got enough mana in there to do that. For some reason we don't have it. Wow, I can actually make 4 of these. Now let's see if this shows up here. Nope, see, it still doesn't show up. I don't know why. I don't know if that's the new, hey, it can't work because you don't have enough. It just doesn't give you a feedback anymore. I don't know. So this is really awesome because, and we'll have to take off our ring to do this, I can actually feed this thing a block of coal. Do I actually have blocks of coal? It'd probably be better if I looked for coal and then look for something that looked like a block. I do not. But I can certainly make some, and I do have a coal right now. So let's toss that down there and let him, oh, are you not going to grab this? Grab it. Grab it. All right, so the with this particular magnet, we can hold the shift key, and it will not... Oh, the shift key didn't work. The shift key is supposed to keep our magnet from working, so I guess we're going to have to take... Oh, we got this magnet on. I'm sorry, I'm a doofus. Come on, grab it. There you go. Now, this thing produces mana much faster, so I'm going to make the other... What do we make? 3? I'm going to make 3 more of these real quick, plop them down right around here, and then we'll see if we can't get this party started. You know what? You know what I just realized? And you guys probably saw it all along. This is not a weak mana pool. This is a full-blown mana pool. Let's see. Mana pool. Oh, the diluted. This did not make a diluted mana pool. Oh, you would have to make slabs. The good news is we could go right straight to the big mana pool, so we don't even have to do... So normally what you would do, the recipe we used here would make the diluted mana pool, and then you would toss that in the another diluted mana pool in order to upgrade it to a full mana pool. We don't have to do that. The recipe has changed here, probably because it's Skyblock and to make it a little easier, but that's pretty awesome. Or maybe that's a change in the latest version of Botania. I don't know. Now, I did make some blocks of coal. Where are they? Blocks of coal. So I was able to feed all 4 of these Endoflames full blocks of coal, and they should be doing their thing. Yep, they are spitting mana over there just as fast as they can. Sweet. And obviously it's still forever slow. So we're just gonna have to let this thing do its thing. But I wanted, the moment I realized that was the reason that wasn't working, and the reason I wasn't getting a pop-up was because this was not the diluted mana pool. I wanted to come back and let you guys know what I had found, because if you're playing along, you might be confused at this point. I was confused. So that's the situation there. Now the good news is that saves us a step. I've never quite understood that step anyway, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So we probably need to get more living stone and living wood made, and then we can start progressing, I guess, with getting our catalyst made, etc., etc. So let's make that happen. Guys, they've changed the recipe for hydrangeas too. Oh my goodness, it's the mana flower again, or the mana powder again, and then just 4 normal flowers. We have to build a bunch of these. We have to build a bunch of these right now. Let's see. Hydrangeas. Yes, and the floating variants are in. Floating hydrangeas. We just need some pasture seeds. I think it's tall grass. Tall grass. Yep. Oh my goodness, this will make life so awesome. Anyway, I just realized that, hey, they did the same thing with the hydrangeas, and that's awesome. I want to knock out some of these lights. I made our first mana glass, and I wanted you to see part of the reason, you can see how dark this is right here, but the mana glass absolutely has a light source, and it does a pretty good job of lighting up an area very discreetly, just because of the natural glow from the mana glass itself. Oh, it's raining again, but you know what? Our flowers don't care. Matter of fact, our flowers are about to be very happy with water. Yes, they are. Let's see, to make tall grass, we're going to need shears, but we've got shears, and we're going to need some bone meal. bone meal. And the way we do this is we just, let me go to the other corner over here so that we don't mess up everything. So we make grass, and then we click on eat grass again to get tall grass. And I think this is what we are having to shear. Did we get? I don't see. Ah, there's some tall grass right there. So was it this grass that it actually broke? Yeah, it looks like it was the short grass. Yep. So let's knock out some of this. Oh, yeah, look at that. So let's throw... there was something else I wanted pasture seeds for earlier, and I don't remember what it was. Just dump these in here. We have pasture seeds now. So let's move forward. I tell you what, I'm going to do the same thing that we just did. It's just more crafting right here in the Petal Apothecary to make the hydrangeas, and then we'll come back. As a matter of fact, I may move this, since we're there already, I may move this to the other side. So what we'll end up with is... we have to do a 3x3. So we would want the petal there, and then 1, 2, 3, and or a flower, and then 1, 2, 3, and then flower, and 1, 2, 3, and flower. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. So we can have 4 hydrangeas sitting right here. I think that works. All right, guys, let me get this set up. Let me get 4 hydrangeas made, and probably another mana spreader and another mana spreader over there. Actually, we made a second mana spreader, didn't we? I would have sworn that's planks. Living wood, blocks of coal. I would have sworn we made a second mana spreader. Maybe I just made the second mana pool thinking we were going to need 2. So let me get some more crafting done here. Let me craft a few more flowers, and we'll be back in just a second. Excellent. Most excellent. So we have 4 floating hydrangeas. Now, the floating varieties are just made by adding a functional flower, or I suppose any of the flowers, to a floating base. We can look at those. If we look at the hydrangeas, we can see that there are floating varieties right beside them. I much prefer them, and the reason is that it takes a 2 tall plant, and you're going, wait a minute, the plant's only 1 tall. Yes, but the plant must sit on dirt. So there's dirt underneath and then flower on top. That's 2 tall. And turns it into a 1 tall plant by putting the dirt and the flower in the same space. And really all it costs you is a little bit of mana. So we see that you take the hydrangea and add it to a floating flower of some sort, and that flower is just dirt, a pasture seed, and then a glimmering variety of a flower. And the way you do that is to just add 2 glowstone to a regular flower. So you grab some flowers, you throw some glowstone on it, you throw it, a pasture seed, on some dirt, and suddenly you have a floating flower to which you can add your hydrangeas or whatever, and suddenly they become floating varieties, which is awesome sauce. So I've got a 3x3 of water here, and you really need to do a 3x3. You can't do a 2x2, because these things actually drink the source block of water that's next to them. So when I put this down here, it's going to start drinking that water right there. If you only had a 2x2, and any 2 hydrangeas drank at the same time, you would suddenly not have enough blocks of water to make source blocks all over again. So always do a 3x3 for these. Let's see, we need to get, didn't I build another? I did build another spreader when I was over there, because, I was thunking ahead just a little bit, but I will say just a little bit. That's as far as I was thunking. And then 1, 2, 3, come on, 3, and 4. And then where is our wand? Yep. So he's connected. We need to get this bad boy connected down here. Are you bound now? Hello? Are we in binding mode? We are in bind mode. So bind, and bind there. There you go. Now, this thing has probably already produced as much as, well, no, not quite. But getting close already. Look at that. Although you can just barely see a sliver on this one. And it's because this has to be constantly fed. Now, why do we care? Well, the truly passive ones, like the nightshades and the day blooms, have an expiration date on them. Yes, they do. They will wear out. So and I don't remember. It used to be like, I don't remember. Several hours, but they will eventually decay and go away. Anything that is active, like the Endoflames, that's not true for. They do not wear out over time. However, in the case of the Endoflames, we constantly have to feed them coal or something that will burn, right? Not that I'm truly opposed to doing that. Matter of fact, let's get up here and go 1, 2, 3, 4 and feed those guys right now. Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the hydrangea is considered a active flower because it is actively drinking water. However, it's because we are creating permanent sorts of water here. As far as we're concerned, it's passive. And it is sitting here producing mana. You can see that... it's doing its thing. And you can see bursts coming from this one pretty constantly, just like we do over here. But in order to get that constant burst over here, we have to drop coal constantly. Now, we can set up machines to do that. That's absolutely a possibility, that we can set up timers, and we can load stuff full of coal, and we can spit that out on timers just in time for these to eat it, blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of work. It's not a lot of work. It's complicated. However, this system, you set it and forget it. You really do. Now, we'll build this up. We'll end up with 2 towers. I think in Agrarian Skies? I think it was Agrarian Skies. We ended up with these like 8 or 10 tall, and we had 2 of them, and they were shooting mana together and then shooting it somewhere else, and then it was crazy. I don't know that we'll need that much mana over here, although if we decide to, carry on with Botania, we will probably get crazy sorts of mana built up here too. So I'm going to I think we're going to make some more of these. I would like our mana production to come along, because there really are some super cool things. If we do at Botania, there's some cool things that we can do in here. Where are some of the baubles and stuff? Oh, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff down here. Check it, check it, check it, check it, check it. So we've got pendants, and we've got rings. We're already wearing a ring. We've got belts. We would like to have the Sojourner sash that would help speed us up for just moving around. We got a full set of armor, but we're probably not going to use the armor. We've got some weapons and stuff, and these use magic instead of taking durability damage. But mostly, we are working our way towards getting the runes down here made so that we can move forward towards that plant. Now, to fuel that plant, we're going to have a ton of mana. I'm just betting it takes a bunch of mana to produce the dungeon loot. So, obviously, what we're doing right here is kind of part of what we have to do to get that done. So, I'm going to make at least... Let's see what it would take to make the jaded. I forgot what the jaded looked like. Oh, this is all production. We want to look at functional. And where is the jaded? Probably on the next page. I think this one actually required a rune. It does. It requires the rune of spring and a redstone root. I don't remember that being particularly difficult, but redstone root. What is this? It is grass and redstone. So yeah, absolutely not a problem. But we do have to get to where we can do... We have to get a... What is it? An altar? Altar. Yeah, this bad boy right here. We have to get the runic altar made, and probably... we could probably do that right now. Get a runic altar set up. And then we can move... let's see. Runic altar. And we should have mana pearls in the system, getting them from the same place where we got the mana steel before. That's also going to mean that we need another mana spreader. Mana spreader. Let's, I've used orange. I don't want to use white, obviously. Let's use the light blue. Sure, we'll use the light blue. Let's jump back over here. And we'll put it next to the pool. So it's taken out of this pool and going into the altar. I believe that's the way this works. And we bind these two together. So it should now be bound to the altar. Yep. And it should be taken out of here. But we need to... And you can see that it's full right now, the green bar underneath it, but it doesn't have anything to do with it. So it's just sitting there full right now, holding the mana. So we need more generating floor, which we can do real quick. And then we'll come back and see what is Rune of Spring. What does it take? Rune of Spring? Rune of Spring. It requires saplings. That's okay. It looks like all these change. It requires wheat. That's not a big deal. Rune of Water. Some mana. Fishing pole we can do. Sugarcane. Bone meal. Mana steel. Yep, we can do all those. It also required fire. Mana steel. Nether brick we made a bunch of. Gunpowder. Nether wart. I think we can do all this. And pretty quickly. Now, obviously, we do not have enough mana yet. So that's going to be the next thing. And I'll probably do the same thing over there that I did with this, where I set up an open crate and a hopper so they don't have to try to fiddle with tossing stuff on top of this thing. That's irritating. So let me go away. Let me get some more generating floor built. And maybe we can make it that far today. Maybe we can make it that far today. I think... Okay, so we had jaded up here, right? This is just to get us a continuous supply of flowers, which will make life a lot easier. So to get to jaded, we need these 3 petals, the redstone root, which I've already made, and a rune of spring, which requires these things plus a rune of water and a rune of fire. Here's the rune of water, and I should have all that in my inventory. And here's the rune of fire, which we should also have. So the top row represents the water, so let's dump all that in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if we've done everything right, we should be able to come down here and click on this. Go. And, oh, I guess it automatically starts. We're just waiting for it to, there we go. Now we just need to add our living stone. And click on it. Blam! Hey, looky there. Rune of water. So now we'll go up and do the same thing with the things for fire. We hear it go, and that means it has started, so it is making a rune of fire. Oh, it's working on it. It's working on it. And then we'll toss in, I guess we can actually go ahead and toss in our living stone now. It just won't do anything until we click on it. Excellent. So there are those. Now, to make the rune of spring, we needed 1 each of these. 1 each of those, plus wheat and 3 saplings. Okay. And that should be working at this point. Yep. Now, for the basic ones, we get 2 for 1 recipe, but I think that starting at the next step up, you only get 1. So we'll go ahead and dump our living wood in there. I mean, our living stone in there. Hey, get your tail back here. I'm guessing that dropped out of there. And then we'll click on it again. Are you ready? Yep, ready now. So I got a whole bunch of extra stuff. Yeah, so notice that we only got 1 rune of spring, even though... how did I get... where did these come from? Did I get my runes back? No, surely not. Uh, huh, I don't know where those came from, guys. I'll have to go back and watch the footage and see if I can spot how that happened. Now we need a bucket. B-U-C-K-E-T, bucket. And we'll just repeat this over here. This is the jaded, so I believe what it requires, jaded, is... Alright, so the 3 petals I've got, plus the redstone root, plus... So I've got 3 petals, redstone root, and the spring right over here. We are going to require a seed, which I didn't seem to bring for some reason. And then we'll just do the same thing here we've been doing. Now, I really like these open crates for this. It just makes this stuff, as you'll see over there, the runic altar crafting can be really difficult because you get stuff to kind of land exactly on top of that thing, and that can be tough sometimes. However, the open crate just makes it like super simple. So we'll throw these things in, and then blam, there he is. Now this thing, I don't know if we actually need a mana spreader pointed at, or if it just needs to be in a certain range of a mana pool. Let's see if it's just a range thing. Hey, look at there, flowers. Oh my goodness, that will make life so much easier. Now, to harvest those flowers, we can use something called a horn. Which horn do we want? We want the horn of the wild. What does this require? Oh, that's the other pasture seed that I wanted. What is this? Planks? No, it's full living wood. So let's go build this real quick. And obviously I went a little crazy. Hey, what is that? Did you, what? Hey, what's going on? Are these now considered passives and they're disappearing? No. Say it ain't so. Obviously I went a little crazy with the hydrangeas, but I'm missing 2. I'm missing 1 from down there and 1 from right here. And that's a little concerning. I didn't fail to put them back in, did I? I hope these aren't considered passive and they're going to... I guess we could look it up real quick. Oh, that would be so horrible. Generating flora. Where are the hydrangeas? Produce compatible data into flame. They also seem to function faster in the rain. Classified as passive flowers and as such will decay. No! No! Oh my goodness. Oh. The decay is like the worst feature ever as far as I'm concerned. Hey, look there though. We got plenty of flowers. So I guess we're going to end up having to set up... That's not going to work because those are all going to decay. Yeah. And you'll notice that the nightshades are all already gone. I didn't pull them out. They decayed. It took a couple, 2 or 3 days in-game, so just not long at all is the long and short of that there. Let's go ahead and build the horn. Man, that's depressing. That's so depressing. Horn of the Wild. Want this bad boy right here. We should be able to shift-click it in. Now, I don't think it requires any mana. I think it just requires activation. And I'm hoping it doesn't knock out the Jaded. It did not knock out the Jaded. Doesn't look like... The only thing it looks like it knocked out are regular flowers. That's excellent. That's excellent. This thing is super awesome. Let's see if... did I leave grass and stuff out here? Yeah, it'll work on everything. Boom, 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 boom. And it's got quite a reach, too. I mean, you can see it reaching way out there. Nice. Well, I'm going to have to come up with a different plan for mana generation, then. That's all there is to it. Oh, that's just so uncool. That's so uncool. Now, one of the interesting things about the ring is that we can actually get away with carrying a lot more inventory around with us than we normally would because it will float up and just hang underneath our feet. So as long as we don't fly so far away from it that it stops being magnetized to us, we can actually drag it all the way back over to some place and put it away, which is pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool. Which I guess means I'll actually fly. I don't know why I'm doing that. I can just go blam, right? I can do that, yep. Dump all this stuff in there. Yep. All right, guys. Well, I will come up with a new plan. I mean, it seems like with this mod pack, every time I think I'm making progress, I suddenly find myself in a position where I'm going, well, I got to back up and try that again. I thought we were going to make some progress here with Botania just to get started in it so that we could move forward again with RFTools. And unfortunately, we now have to solve a problem with Botania. We set up Botania to solve a problem with RFTools, but now we've got to solve a problem over here so that we can solve a problem over there so that we can... Oh, my goodness. Am I walking around in circles or what? Because it certainly feels that way. Guys, I really will come up with a plan. I will have a plan by the next time we are together for what we're going to do. Don't know exactly what that is yet, but I'll find a way because, you know, that's just the way it is. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you hanging out with me. I know that you could be spending your time doing anything you want, and you chose to spend that time with me, and I appreciate that very much, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.